Hello, welcome back. This is day 3 of the 6-part video series teaching you the 6 movements that you need to have in your fitness routine. So these 6 movements you should be getting in over the course of the week, not every single day. You can pick and choose which ones to do each day and create sort of a fitness program or format for yourself that works due to your fitness level, your time constraints. But these 6 movements are at the core of any strength training, resistance training, load bearing program. We have already covered the squat and the hinge. We're moving into the upper body today, doing the press or push movements. I'm Jessie. I am a personal trainer specializing in pre and postnatal fitness and a mom of 8. And I know a thing or two about trying to incorporate fitness into my daily life. It is extremely challenging. I am aware between work and school and kids and waking up at night and not getting good sleep and trying to fuel yourself, I am aware that between all of the different restraints that we have on our life, it's so hard to fit in healthcare and self-care. But just remember that like any little investment that you make now is an investment in your longevity, in your mobility, in your lifespan. And so it really matters. Like every 5-minute amount of time that you can invest into moving your body, flexing your muscles, really matters. And that's why I want to teach you these 6 moves so that you feel empowered to just pick one and do something today. Okay, we are going to start out with a basic overhead press. It is cold in here, so I've got my jacket on, but I'm going to take it off because I want you to be able to see the form. Before we do that, warming up is really important. Now, our lower body, you're usually walking around in your day. So before you do something like a body weight squat, there's not a whole lot of warm up that you have to do if you're already coming from being active in your day. But for our upper body, you might want to take a few minutes to warm up your upper body. We're going to be working your chest, our bicep, our triceps, everything. So don't overthink it. Just move every joint in your body, in your upper body, before we start working the upper body. So I'm just going to move my elbow joint. I'm going to move my wrist joint. I'm going to move my shoulder joint. Maybe do some arm circles, do some chest openers. Don't overthink it. Just do enough that you feel like you're not stiff and tight and cold. So I'm really just contracting. I'm pinching the shoulder blades in the back and squeezing forward, open and close. I'm going to do some big arm circles, keeping my core engaged, not letting my ribs flare out, practicing kind of that posture that we've been doing with the pelvic tuck. Do some forward arm circles. So this is dynamic stretching. So we're increasing our range of motion while moving our muscles and our joints. This is different than static stretching where you just hold one position. It's cold, man. It's not going away. That little chest component. I'm feeling like 90% better now though, which is why this 6-part series is perfect timing because it's just getting me to do a little bit of something every single day. Okay, the first one we're going to do is, like I said, an overhead press. So if your arms are feeling warm, pick a light weight if you want to warm up a little bit more, or just do 0 weights. That's fine too. So I've got a firm grip on my dumbbells. I'm using 10 pounds, which is a medium to light weight for me for overhead press. Excuse me. Same posture that we've been working on with our squats and our hinges, which is pelvic tuck, wrap around core engagement. I'm pressing my back against that imaginary wall, so I don't want any bowing or rounding. It's like there's just a board, flat board that I'm pressing my back, my core, my booty, my head all against that flat board. Now I'm going to curl the weights up. I'm not going to rest them on my shoulders. I'm going to hold them a little bit above my shoulders. Knees are soft. I'm just going to press the weights up overhead, a little bit in front of my face. So I'm not going directly. I don't want to risk falling backwards. So they're just slightly in front of my face. When I come back down, I'm not resting. So I'm coming back down to a place where I can control the stop and I'm not having to rest them on my shoulders. Again, we're going 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4 on the way down. So we're resisting the release, pressing up with power. So let's do it with me. Inhale, 1, 2, hold 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, exhale, 1, 2, hold, Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to breathe so you can hear it, okay? So I'm going slow and controlled on the way down, power on the way up. Okay, there was a form cue that came to mind that I wanted to share. Now I can't remember what it was. Oh, I remember what it was. Sorry, brain, mom brain getting activated. Don't shrink your shoulders up to your ears. You want to keep those shoulders back and down. So space between your ears and your shoulders when you're doing this. Okay, so that is a basic military press. 2 counts up, hold briefly, 4 counts slow on the way down. This tempo that I'm having you do is the best tempo for hypertrophy, which is muscle building. If you have a lighter weight, you can always slow that rep down, increase the time under tension. If you have a heavier weight and you can't go that slow and you just want to get some power movement in, you absolutely can do that too. So the tempo is something that you can play with. The 4-2-2 is just 1 rep count to start with. Okay, next I'm going to show you what is called a military press. So it's basically the same, except our grip is different. Instead of our palms being out wide, our palms are facing each other. So you're working a slightly different muscle group. When you're doing the overhead press, you're really getting these wide lats. You're working your shoulders. When you move them in, you're getting a little bit more tricep, bicep, still working your shoulders, but you're doing more of the front of your shoulders. So it's just slightly different grip. Mess around with it. Do one, do the other, switch week to week, or do a couple of reps of each. Okay, holding our weights parallel to our shoulders. And we're gonna press up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Still squeezing my booty, still tucking my tailbone, activating my core. Up. 1, 2, 3, 4. You might find you have to go a little bit lighter on the military press because this shoulder muscle is a little bit smaller, but it's fun to work the smaller muscle groups. It's fun to switch it up and make sure it's not boring. So you can take the same move and just vary it slightly to add variety to your workout. You don't have to upend and shake out the whole entire workout program to do something different to create that muscle confusion and to keep progressing. You can do slight modifications, slight changes. One more press to show you is called an Arnold press. So this one, we're going to start with our fists facing towards us, going out and around, up overhead. Again, seeing just a couple inches in front of my body, and then bring it back down slow and around. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. A little slower because there's more range of motion here. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. But the premise is I'm going twice as fast on the way up as I am on the way down. Little things to look out for. Aside from the shoulder scrunch, don't do the head strain. Don't do this. Okay, we want to keep everything in alignment. Make sure you're doing all those form checks in your mind with the soft knees, with the pelvic tuck, with the butt cheek squeeze, with the core wrapped around. So we are doing an isometric contraction everywhere from the chest down. That is not being passive, okay? Especially when you are lifting up overhead, it's important to keep that pelvic tuck, those glutes and muscles down there clinched, because we don't want to put pressure by either holding our breath, lifting too heavy, or just not having proper form protecting our pelvic floor. So we don't want to put unnecessary pressure on our linea alba or our pelvic floor, especially if you're postpartum, okay? So lift light, get the form down. Once you can be aware what all this is doing while you're lifting, then you can start to go heavier. Okay, overhead press, military press, Arnold press, 3 types of presses you can do. I'm also going to show you some horizontal presses, which are sometimes push moves, chest press, and tricep press. All right, these are the last 2. So there's a lot you can do here. Now, chest press and tricep press, because we're going to be laying down, it's a little bit less in the shoulders, a little bit more in the chest, but still really beneficial for your body. I'm going to use a bench just so that I'm more elevated for you to see. you can absolutely just lay right on the floor. You do not need to have a bench to do this. In fact, I'm going to bring my feet up because it's much easier for me to keep my back flat. If I put my feet down, I get kind of a little bow in my back here, and we do not want that, okay? Once again, all of the form cues that we had when we were standing apply here. So my pelvic bone is tucked under, like I'm tucking my tail between my legs. I am pressing my back against the bench or the ground. My core is activated. All of that still stands, okay? I'm not just relaxed laying on the bench. I'm tucked and I'm squeezed around. All right, hold the weights just over your chest, not over your face, over your chest. We're gonna go down for 4, hold 2, up 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, hold 2, up 2. The nice thing about a bench is that you can get a little bit more range of motion where the floor would stop your elbows. So if you're on the floor, just barely skim the ground. Do not rest here and press back up. Now, inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold. Exhale, 1, 2. All right. One more form cue. Imagine that there is a pencil right between your chest muscles, right between your breasts, and you are trying to squeeze that with every bit of effort that you have. Down, 2, 3, 4. Here comes the squeeze. Okay, and when I do that, oh, my whole core is contracting. It is like a full upper body, everything from the hips up exercise. Down, 2, 3, 4, hold. Squeeze. Down, 2, 3, 4. Squeeze. All right. Okay. This is super important. Oh, that throat tickles really bad today. I'm so sorry. This is really important. Mind muscle connection. Okay. It does not matter. It does not matter what weight you use for this if you are putting in the mind muscle connection. You can use 25-pound weights and not be focused on that squeeze and just be going through the motion and feel less benefit than if you are using a 3-pound weight. I am not joking. I am absolutely serious. Use the weight that allows you to really focus on the movement, to contract the muscles. So you're in here and in here that you're supposed to be contracting. Only go heavier if you can keep the form and you can keep the mind muscle connection here. If you have to increase the tempo going heavier, great. Increase the tempo so the reps are a little bit faster. I'd love for you to challenge yourself and go heavier if you are ready for that. Okay, now the next one is going to be a tricep press. So we're gonna lay back down. We're gonna press our low back against the bench. This one, our fists are pointing toward each other. Our elbows are squeezed right in at our sides, but I'm not resting them on the floor or on the bench. And I'm just gonna press up over my chest, down, 2, 3, 4, skimming my sides. 1, 2, down, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Keep that back pressed against the bench. Activate the core. This works more the front of your shoulders, your biceps, your triceps, and your chest. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Fantastic. All right, those are our 5 press and push moves. I hope you love them. I hope you love getting some upper body work in today. Now, you'll see how these movements, the squat, the hinge, the press, yes, they are focused on one area of the body, but they really work your whole entire body. That's why these moves are so effective, these dynamic compound movements, instead of something just like a bicep curl, where you're only moving one hinge. I love bicep curls. I love tricep kickbacks. I love those for upper body. But these kind of press and push movements, you're going to get much more bang for your buck, and they're more applicable to your activities of daily life. So you can think about putting that luggage up in the overhead bin, putting those boxes up in the pantry, reaching down and getting things off the top shelf of your kid's closet. You can think about lifting your kid up overhead, maybe putting them on their bunk bed or whatever. These kind of press and push movements, pushing yourself up off the ground. God forbid if you fall. There's so many things in life where you need to be able to press and push things. And this is a great exercise to be practicing. Take this form that we're doing here and bring it into your daily life. Anytime you have to lift something, anytime you have to push something, and utilize all of this form, the soft knees, the pelvic tuck, the core isolation, right? The shoulders not creeping up, and be intentional with how you're moving because you'll avoid injury and you'll get in bonus movement. All right, you guys, I hope to see you for the next one. Thanks so much for joining me today.